If you surf off my turf.
Kung Fu Panda 4 is coordinated by Mike Mitchell and Stephanie Stein and follows the proceeding with undertakings of Po, and when he's tapped to turn into the profound head of the Valley of Harmony, he wants to find and prepare another mythical serpent fighter, while an insidious sorceress plans to resummon all the expert miscreants whom Po has vanquished to the soul domain. The Kung Fu Panda motion pictures are similar to distinct advantages. Since I have never watched one, reasoning it would have been anything unique. The primary film I as a matter of fact didn't believe would have been great. It turned out to be great. Same with the second, same with the third. These are shockingly great films, and while Kung Fu Panda 4 is likely the least of the four, I actually think that's what a nice, entirely charming family film. Grown-ups and kids will have a great time watching this film. Completely does away with the supporting cast that we've come to be aware from different movies. I can accept that could have something to do with monetary restrictions of getting entertainers like Angelina Jolie to return, or on the other hand, perhaps they simply needed to go to a different city. And, surprisingly, however, the liveliness was commonly flawless. It's a DreamWorks creation. It will look extraordinary. I ended up a little exhausted. I was wasting time sort of pondering when the film was going to get everything rolling. There's a tomfoolery activity scene where he brings down a stingray. I saw this film in 3D since it just ended up turning out for my time. Once I possessed the Kung Fu in the theater close, my house was a 3D one, and I was like, alright, I honestly hate 3D motion pictures. However, I went, it's likewise one of the first 3D films I've seen since getting laser eye medical procedure, so I didn't need to put 3D glasses over genuine glasses, which was truly pleasant. I assume I saw Symbol Method of Water in 3D, and it's great to see a film in 3D sporadically, particularly for a children. Liveliness which looks great. It's particularly compelling in an activity scene in a ramshackle old bar on a cliffside filled with obscure characters. This is additionally where the film truly begins to wake up. He collaborates with a fox voiced by an Aquafina. He catches her attempting to take some ancient rarities, places her in prison, and she's one of the couple of individuals who figures out Viola Davis, this sorceress known as the chameleon who can shapeshift into anything. The activity likewise gets a great deal here. There's an incredible pursuit through a city to an instrumental interpretation of Insane Train, highlighting a second where everybody counting the policing down to try not to push over any assets in a second-hand store shop. And when the film started to embrace its subject, which is basically tolerating change, despite the fact that change can be extremely unnerving, and embracing it, and understanding that occasionally change is a matter of fact is better, and that our lives turn out to be better because of it. I think that is truly perfect so that children might be able to hear, since kids are in a consistent condition of change, but on the other hand it's really great for grown-ups to hear on the grounds that I think we as a whole trepidation change also. That is most likely the best thing I can say about Kung Fu Panda 4 is simply the activity arrangements are exceptionally fun. The 3D, if you decide to see it in 3D, was very powerful. However, it additionally inclines toward the thought, particularly with Aquafina's character, that change can help your life despite the fact that making that stride is unnerving into something you've never attempted, that you should try it out also. See what occurs, and that subject applies to present Father's Lee, played by Bryan Cranston, and Mr. Ping, played by James Hong, in light of the fact that the two of them spend a large portion of the film stressing over their child, and the way that is on whether or not he will fall into fiasco. What's more, they're not completely embracing the reality that he's changing also, and when they acknowledge that their lives become more straightforward. So the film really does a very decent occupation of investigating its principal topic. In addition to Viola Davis was plainly having a magnificent time playing a shape-moving reptile. Look, this film won't do what Puss in Boots: The Last Wish did for DreamWorks. It's simply not. It's not even close to that degree of craftsmanship yet. It is an extremely engaging film, and I believe it's a nicely charming film. What's more, I think particularly for youngsters who are currently gigantic enthusiasts of the Kung Fu Panda motion pictures, yet I think dissimilar to some other DreamWorks establishments, like for case the Shrek films, which sort of tumbled off after 2. For me, the Kung Fu Panda motion pictures have really kept up with some consistency. So in the event that you folks in all actuality do see it this end of the week or later on, I trust you appreciate it. Anticipate this end of the week on the grounds that my component show will be on the film Breakdown, the 1997 movie with Kurt Russell, coordinated by Jonathan Cutt, which is very undervalued. I for a long time truly needed to discuss that film, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you all. Many thanks as consistently for observing. What's more, assuming if you think this is good, click this link to subscribe and enable the bell symbol.